Welcome back, Web3 TV. I'm Cristina Najera. Welcome to Freedom with Web3 podcast. I'm so excited today because I have a very special guest. Today, we are going to discover more about Web3, cryptocurrency, AI, and blockchain. Please say hi to Mike. He is from Orts, and I'm very happy to hear more about what you do and who you are.
Lovely. Delighted to be here. Thank you very much, Cristina and Web3 TV.
Yes, I'm very excited to hear more. You have a very interesting story, so could you like to start sharing more about that?
Yeah, where do you want me to start? Because it's like all over the place, my story. Should I just dive into Ort or?
I would love to know, how did you start your crypto journey?
Very interesting. So I did an unconventional approach. Instead of going back to school to get a master's, I did an apprenticeship. My business partner was old Washingtonian. Great-grandfather built the walls around Washington, D.C. and walls around Georgetown University. He's named after his cousin, Walter Reed. So he brought me into large international infrastructure financing and impressed upon me the importance of research, macro trends research. So from there, one thing led to another, ended up moving from my dead-end job, going to Jamaica, back home where I'm from, where I retired. He and I would have these nightly discussions. And one thing led to another. It was about the monetary policy from the Fed. And I brought up Bitcoin, and we both agreed that I should do a dissertation on Bitcoin. So in 2015, I started doing research on Bitcoin. And when I presented it to him, it was such a compelling narrative, we decided to start investing. So early 2016, we got Bitcoin at some ground level pricing.
Wow, I love that. I think something very important when it comes to Web3 is to be curious, to be very open to learn something new, to be very excited about understanding something different, because this technology has a lot of things to discover. So when we are open to understand more about it, to meet more people, to talk about it, it's key so we can understand how we can use it, right? So with that, how did you ended up being at Orts?
Yes, very good question. So co-founded, my Bitcoin journey led me to co-founding a VC called Office Lear that's based in New York City. Ort is one of our portfolio companies, and Dr. Max Lee, professor at Columbia University, and the other co-founder, his partner, Dr. Sean Yang, they both approached me and asked me if I want to play a role as the chairman for the foundation, utilizing my resources and working close with the team. Yeah, of course, I accepted. I think it was a new journey for me and experience. So yeah, it's been rich.
Wow, yeah, very excited. Would you like to share more about the VC part? How did you start?
Yeah, so one thing led to another. It's just, when you're on this journey, I call myself like just being a leaf in the wind of God, right? And it's been an amazing experience. I moved to New York after my business partner Walter's death, and that was so I could get away from all the noise in DC, because it reminded me too much of him. And I doubled down on Bitcoin and Ethereum, and it led me to provide consultancy to, startup projects for like advisory equity, so on and so forth. But what really was interesting was the people that I kept meeting on my journey. Ended up meeting my partner, Francis Burwa. He's now heading up ZK Pass, which is a recent Binance Launchpad project. And also Marion Tong. At the time, she owned a co-working space called Lear East. We began a collaboration together, and one of our companies on my end was absorbed by Lear East, and we began owning this co-working space, at which we transformed from just a technology space to now a Web3 dedicated co-working space, and then COVID hits. So we had to do a pivot. This was in Soho. We did a pivot into an accelerator, which morphed into a VC, and now we're morphing into an asset management firm.
Wow, very interesting. I love your story because it seemed like everything went smooth.
Yeah.
You were just in the right moment at the right time, and you met the right people, and now here you are in Dubai showcasing what you do. And with that, I would love to know more about ORT itself.
Sure.
What it is and what's its mission.
So ORT is a breakthrough research project from Columbia University, once again led by Professor Dr. Max Lee, our CEO and founder. We're building out a decentralized AI experience. We're really big on this, solving, transparency and adding more participation from the 99% in the rollout of AI. We have our own layer one. It's called Olympus Protocol. We did a TGE January 15th of 2024 and launched on BitGet, Gate, MEXC. We currently have several products, so a suite of products that include decentralized cloud storage. We have a partnership with Dell as one of the first Web3 or even decentralized cloud providers for their ecosystem specific to their small, medium enterprise partners. So now they, 10 million plus, have access to our decentralized cloud solution. We also have an AI agent that's factually accurate, and we've partnered with Lenovo on that end. And now we're gearing up to launch our data hub. The commercial launch takes place in the coming days. It's going to focus on data collections and data labeling. Data labeling's further down on the roadmap, probably a couple months out. Partners with Shenzhen Data Exchange, which is prolific in Shenzhen, and then also AI Tech, and both are marketplaces for the data that's going to be data sets that are going to be facilitated on our data hub. So yeah, we have a lot that's taking place internally and externally.
It's very interesting because nowadays we see how companies are combining Web3 and AI. What was the story of your company? Did you start it as a Web3 and AI company, or did you implement AI later on? Because after the boom of ChatGPT, now everybody knows how to use AI, but also is familiar with it, which doesn't happen with Web3, right? People are not very familiar with it. They want to get into the space, but the barrier is big compared to AI. So I would love to know more about that.
Well, Dr. Lee has always been a big proponent on AI, especially in Columbia University, right, where he's in the electrical engineering department. He's a mathematician and always spoke pretty highly about AI and its profound future. So it was only natural for us to combine AI and blockchain, because the data, the provenance, the transparency, and integrating the AI into our narrative. It was very fortunate for us that this was what we started with and what our plan was. To see that, what took place in 2022 with these Web3 companies like Luna, unfortunately, and, FTX, it made a lot of the institutions and players basically pivot to AI, which, that was what we were really interested in from onset. So yeah, that was extreme validation internally on our approach externally.
Wow, very interesting. And since you came here for events, how is it going? What are the main takeaways that you had from this journey in Dubai?
Oh man, so I've been coming to Dubai for several years now. This is my 6th time, and I'm really impressed by how resilient and more mature the Web3 ecosystem has grown and become, where, you know, in the past you might have some skepticism with, you know, potential scammers, right? Now I think a lot of that's been removed. And yeah, a lot more vetting has been taking place. Now I'm looking at Dubai as the hub for brain capital arbitrage, and just more opportunities to actually accelerate the Web3 space. I've seen recently too policies that have been rolled out by the Dubai government that are more favorable towards crypto, like, you know, no taxes on transactions. That's a boon to the ecosystem. And also the real estate business is booming here, and now they also accept crypto.
Yes, what else would you like to see? And with that, I would love to know, Mike, can freedom be in Web3?
I think that's a very good question. I believe this is the opportunity to build our legacy, and to do so, a lot of ego has to be removed, because we're really building a legacy for the next generation.
Yes.
And with that comes a lot of introspect, research as well, historical points of reference, which I'm currently seeing is lacked. There's a lot of opportunists or opportunistic, I would say, yeah, experiences taking place in the Web3 space. So I always go back to Bitcoin and what it meant for, you know, people on an economic freedom scale. To be free, you definitely have to be economically free. And you have to be informed. Yeah, and intellectually curious. So I think this is such a dynamic market that it can offer the three, but it will definitely start with introspect and people really understanding what legacy that they are going to be leaving behind, because life is fleeting. It's very short, right?
Yes.
You blink, you never know. I blinked and now I'm much older.
Yes, we need to be very consistent with what we do, what we think, what we feel, and what we are actually like doing every single day. So with that, I would love to know what freedom means to you, Mike.
Oh man, freedom. Geez, like it just means getting my time back, my life back, health, the ability to research and keep up with markets, see my family, and just focus on the things that matter, which are typically freedom. So yes, that's really what it means to me. I think for now, I feel pretty free, and just really excited about what we're building out, right? Keeping cognizant of, you know, our reality and the current state of big tech. We've got a long way to go, but what's really cool is now we have the community that can play a role.
100%. And also something very interesting that you mentioned is legacy. Which legacy do you want to leave, Mike?
Oh man, Cristina, you're asking all the the tough questions. So I think I would like to leave a legacy of a humanitarian, one that was really careful about adding value. So in all my relationships, I make sure value is added, right? It's typically not transactional. And one that was filled with integrity, right? Morals, values, because it's very easy to not have that in this space. Yeah, one that was an innovator, right? Yeah, a polymath. Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations. I love that you have a clear point, a clear path of what you want to do and how you will do it. And with that, I would love to know more about Dubai, this region, because your company is more based in the US. and now you are here. How do you see the differences between this region and the US, and how Ort is expanding here?
So, yeah, it's the beauty here is that we're truly international, right? Especially in Web3 or crypto. So the US experience, now after being in Asia for like 4 months, realizing that it's quite conservative. But, it's good. We're definitely in a bit of an echo chamber. However, these chambers move around at conferences. And you get to see outside of the US a lot more activity, innovation taking place, especially on the Bitcoin network, which, Bitcoin is the tide that floats, rising tide that floats all ships. So I really find that appealing. I love the conversation that I get to have in Dubai. There's a lot of intellectual curiosity that can be missing from the space sometimes in, stateside. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I think it's because there's so many backgrounds, ethnicities that are all building in crypto coming here. And there's a bit of a pressure for you to be successful. Otherwise, you got to leave Dubai. So it's like incentivized to have these discussions here. So I find that really compelling. And just enjoy keeping up with the conversation, right? Because the market's so dynamic. You're learning about social-fi, BTC-fi, or all kinds of different conversations being had. So that's one aspect that I like in Dubai, which is like very small, the crypto community. But if I had this conversation in New York, it would probably be, very vertical focused. Yeah. Yeah.
Very interesting. Yeah, I love to see your perspective because you come from another city, and then here you find people from all over the world, so you can discuss different things because, as you mentioned, Dubai has people from all over the world with different backgrounds, and a lot of them are very interested on crypto.
Yeah.
As at least I see it every single day, there is something to do with crypto. Either it's a small meetup or a big event like the ones we had last week.
Yeah, it's nonstop here.
Yeah, how was your experience on the events last week?
The events were very interesting. Met up with some friends and met some new friends. So, there's a lot of new people joining the circuit. And that, I think, is also telling of, it feels like we're in a bull market, right? Based on the euphoria that you're seeing at these events. I noticed the Binance Dubai event, though, was a bit more maybe Dubai-centric. And that's cool because it's a fairly recent event, right? So yeah, that was very interesting getting to meet, the real players that are local. So that was good. Great conversation, insight, and I'm looking forward to, the next real event that I need to attend in Dubai. I guess that's going to be Token 2049.
Yeah, it's coming. And also we have the Bitcoin Mina.
Bitcoin
You need
Mina.
to be here. You are a Bitcoin lover, so I invite you to come. You should definitely attend this event. It will be in Abu Dhabi. So
Oh, really?
take a look at that. Yes.
Is that in December 4th?
Yes, it's in December. I will send you the invite because I'm an ambassador. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. I'm attracting a lot of Bitcoin lovers. So if you're a Bitcoin lover, please send me a DM. I can give you a discount if you want to get a ticket. So yes, you are invited.
Oh man, that's incredible. Yeah, I share it with my Bitcoin friends. I've got a lot of friends that are building on Bitcoin right now.
Yes, I would love to know more about that because I feel there is a lot of interest on Bitcoin, especially after El Salvador adopted Bitcoin as a currency, which is crazy, which I love because now people understand that this is real and this is not a scam. This is something that people are taking seriously and people can go and buy things in a city or in a country like El Salvador. So it's not just something that it's used for certain things. Now it's a currency of a country. So I would love to know more about what is exciting now on Bitcoin.
So there's a lot of excitement around Bitcoin, and first, on a macro scale, as a researcher, you take a look at the markets. Central banks are printing. As long as they're printing, Bitcoin's going to be valuable. And just recently, the Feds just cut interest rates, right? So that just means more money printing. Also, Bitcoin's 16 years old now, and we only recently, as of 2023, created a new token standard on Bitcoin. I think it's very cool because now you're actually embedding data into a Satoshi. So you have 100 million Satoshis that make one Bitcoin, similar to like 100 pennies to make $1. And now you can embed data into each penny and make it unique and tradable. And that penny might be valued in hundreds of dollars. That's essentially what's taking place with the Satoshis. So now a lot of activities taking place on chain, and what we're seeing is layer 2s now coming on the scene. And one of the really cool projects that I've been watching closely is Tap Protocol. They're building on the layer 1, right? And facilitating DeFi on layer 1. So imagine the endorsement of Wall Street, BlackRock now rolling out ETFs and several other institutional products in ETFs, right? That deep liquidity, what that will mean for the future of Bitcoin as an asset class, and also development on chain. I think alt season is going to be much different this year, or moving forward, because before we didn't have a token standard on Bitcoin. So you actually got out of the Bitcoin ecosystem into these other alt chains. But moving forward, there's no reason to leave Bitcoin. It goes down into the new coins that are on Bitcoin. Yeah.
Wow, that's a very interesting moment for Bitcoin, especially the next bull market. So how do you see the market? As you mentioned, at events, it seems like we are in the bull market. However, what's your perspective on that?
Oh, man, I don't even think we have seen anything yet, but we're definitely in a bull market, in a bull trend. We're trading 68K sideways. I remember like last year, we were at 15K, and it was early last year, and I was looking at the development on chain with the BRCs and the ordinals, and I was like, no way, look at all this activity. We're in a bull market. And sure enough, we kept going up. So just recently, start the year, we had the ETF announcement by BlackRock, which was like, that was a fiasco as well. But it worked out, and now we're trading sideways at 68K. All right. A lot of people think that this is bearish. I don't know why. It's very bullish because, Bitcoin is a bit of elastic movement. And right now we're seeing much consolidation take place at 68K. So we're basically most likely waiting on the election results. Again, another macro trend. If Kamala wins, I think we're going to see a dip. And then a few months later, a shot up. If Trump wins, it's probably going to be a bit euphoric, and you should see some price action there. But yeah, I think we are moving towards, dare I say, 100K Bitcoin. And we're going to have 100K Bitcoin parties. So I think like in the future, your grandkids are going to ask you, where were you when Bitcoin hit 100K? I'm going to say, I threw my own party. Yeah.
I love that. I love that a lot of people imagine the future and their kids or their grandkids asking them, like, how was living in that stage where you were able to buy Bitcoin at now $70,000 or before, like
even that's
$10.
Cheap.
Exactly, because, the predictions are very interesting on the price. And with that, I would love to know more about how do you see the future on Bitcoin? You say 100K now, however, this is a very long-term prediction, I will say, because a lot of people here say Bitcoin, it will go to 1 million. So how long it will take? And remember, guys, this is not a financial advice. We are here just sharing our thoughts. always do your own research. I love this phrase, Dior, do your own research. And you are a researcher. So would you like to share more? How do you do your research? Because I think that's something very important for people to do.
You know, it's crazy. So it's something that Walter impressed upon me when he was still alive, my business partner that I did the apprenticeship with. And he would tell me, you know, first you got to take a look at mainstream media. And sadly in America, you know, there's like 6 corporations that control the news. So if you're getting your information from them, you're getting what last year's news today. So we would always look at independent investigative journalists, alternative sources as well. And post his, you know, transition, I've been able to consolidate this group of like well-informed journalists that I follow consistently. A decade plus, and they've been very strong. Like I like aggregated sources. Like you could go to a website that has an aggregate of like independent investigative journalists, and they put their news on those websites. And yeah, it's very insightful. So I typically use that to help me see much further than the average person. So what I'm seeing coming down the pike is governments are most likely going to adopt Bitcoin as you know, either reserve or the equivalent of their gold standard, right? So imagine the energy and the cost to move gold from point A to point B, and you compare that to moving Bitcoin on chain. Transaction, you get the transaction hash, you can send it to the recipient. Oh, it's going to be there in like, you know, 5 minutes. Now with like Taproot upgrade and more to come, we're seeing transactions move much faster. So you're sending billions of dollars in like under a minute, 10 minutes compared to how we're moving money at the moment. I think that's a game changer, and Bitcoin is really facilitating this change.
100%. And I feel that you can explain this in a very easy way, because people like to overcomplicate things. Yeah, sometimes they think that blockchain is very hard to understand, but if you just understand what you just mentioned, that you can send money direct to somebody else without a middleman and without needing a lot of time or without paying a lot of fees for that, that's what technology, that's what blockchain solves, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know, we got to keep in mind as well, if we want mass adoption in this space, I think we have to start speaking in more layman's terms instead of this highbrow technical term.
Yes, I would love to talk about mass adoption, because now I went to the Ton Getaway events. It was amazing. And I saw a lot of adoption on Telegram. However, now we are with somebody who loves Bitcoin. How do you see Bitcoin within the mass adoption?
Oh, man, with the new token standards, huge. I see Bitcoin leading the wave. The reason being, now you're seeing a lot more documentaries on Bitcoin, a lot of, you know, interest from governments as well. You're talking about El Salvador's adoption, and I've seen Bukele with like dignitaries across the world. Obviously, they're going there to learn a little bit more about his insight on this currency as well. I'm seeing huge interest in Bitcoin, especially whenever we hit new all-time highs, right? It's like a big celebratory dance for all of us. More people are interested in the Bitcoin, and also now meme coins. Meme coins came like, you know, it came like a thief in the night. Like everyone is now on the retail side talking about meme coins, and that's also bringing interest. However, you know, there's a lot of value extraction that takes place on the meme coin side, but then you also have like founders that are really building quality projects, and it's hard to differentiate as like from retail, like which meme coin is going to be, you know, valuable, because so many are launched. but it is driving interest. I just want the founders of meme coins to keep in mind that, you know, you are really moderating or helping onboard like new retail into this space. So let's just really be kind to them, as kind as we can, to like just make it fun for them to learn, right? Because if they have a bad experience, of course, they're not coming back.
Yes, and talking about meme coins, I heard some VCs are exploring these markets. And since you are a VC as well, I would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I've been seeing that, and I was surprised by it. You know, I was able to meet a meme coin team, and they were really insightful with like the meme coin culture and degens, and like how thoughtful they were, this team, on like helping people get like adopted into the crypto space, and then rewarding them for participating in like engagement activities. So I believe that there is a future in memes, and most likely regulations coming in memes because of the rug pulls, you know, the bad actors.
Yes.
It's kind of like ICOs, right? Like I remember that. I thought that was the greatest thing ever. And then you had bad actors that, you know, it took people's money, didn't build anything. And now here comes the regulations. Now we've transitioned from ICOs to now like fear mints or fear launch projects, which I think that's even better as well. But yeah, I think memes are going to serve their role in this future, and it's going to be really interesting because someone is going to develop a value add meme that is going to outperform the current meme market, and we're just waiting for that.
Yes, let's see how it goes. And with that, I would love to hear your thoughts on airdrops. What do you think about that?
Airdrops are brilliant. Airdrops are a beautiful way to create community and reward people, community members, for participating in, you know, early stages of your projects. So I like the way Uniswap did it. I think Magic Eden's gearing up for one right now, which is like really interesting because, you know, with the ordinal side, I've been like utilizing Magic Eden to acquire like some of these ordinals. So based on the activity, I think you earn ME, whatever that's going to look like. So yeah, it's a good way to reward the community activity, the role that they play in, you know, the on-chain activity in your ecosystem.
Interesting. Thanks for sharing, Mike. And last question, as a VC, how do you choose the projects you would like to invest in?
Yeah, very good. Well, we have a IC, so like internal investment committee, but it's really about conviction. And to really establish that conviction, sure, you have to find, you know, areas in the market that are broken and a qualified team that can fix that. We are very bullish on technology founders at Avislear. So having a background in tech. And bridging that into the Web3 space, I think that's very good. But, you know, really what it boils down to is sometimes you have to get like really into hanging out with that founder, getting to know the person, because essentially you're investing in the founder, right? And you have to see their vision. And it's really interesting because a lot of that is mental. They have the idea and they just want your assistance to bring it into reality. So understanding the person is going to be probably an advanced step in that decision making. But that's what I enjoy doing.
Nice. Thank you, Mike. We learned so much from you today. It was a pleasure having you. I know you have a flight to catch, so I don't want to keep you longer. But it was a pleasure. Thank you again, and happy to see you again once you are back in Dubai for the MENA Bitcoin MENA event.
Possibly. Yes. Thank you very much. Please do share more on that so I can share that with my friends as well.
Perfect. And how people can find you, how they can know more about you and what you do and your upcoming projects.
So you can find me on Twitter at OORTCHAIR. So Ortchair. I'm also on Telegram at BLEEKER8. So those are my two contacts.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike. It was a pleasure. Have a lovely day. And thank you for watching. Remember to share this with your friends because everybody deserves to know more about Web3, AI, cryptocurrency, and blockchain. I'm Cristina Najera. See you next time.
Lovely.